I broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair. Gave me a jolt. The butler hurried and called the Knights of the Inquisition. He never entered the study. What did I do then? Oh yeah, I was asked to keep an eye on things, so I went in to have a bit of a look at everything. All that made me pretty drowsy, so I went and took a little nap on the couch. Wait, what? Mr. Amir? You said the butler didn't enter the crime scene. Yep, he never set foot in there. The moment he saw Belduke, he told me to stand guard till the Knights of the Inquisition arrived. And then off he went. What a resourceful apprentice that alchemist has, I thought to myself. I almost feel sorry for you, Sir Blue Knight. After all, your suspect couldn't have tampered with the crime scene. That can't be true. Defense, please proceed with the interrogation. Yes, Your Honor.
Hold it!
Alright. While the alchemist slumped in the chair. Before you smashed the door, did you check that it was really locked? Of course I did. Tried to get it open without resorting to brute force, but it wouldn't budge. So I went to fetch me a lovely little axe. His wooden enemy stood tall and still, yet Amir sprang forth. It was overkill. Did you think I lied about the door being locked? No, of course not. Boy, she's so sharp, she might cut herself, or me, most likely. You should have said, girl, she's so sharp. You know, like, come on. Come on. So when I went inside, the alchemist was slumped in his chair. While we're at it, allow me to confirm something. When you entered the room, did the victim look the way he does in this sketch? Yep, that's it. Spot on. Nicely drawn, too. You know, at first I didn't know if he was really dead. He looked like he just passed out or something, tired from his research. I don't really want to question you because you're just going to derail things, but
Hang on!
sure. Squirrel, may I ask you something? Yes, what is it? What do you think about Mr. Mear's testimony? Nothing amiss. However, Mr. Wright, I can tell what you are thinking. You can? Well, let's see if you're right. When he entered the room, Mr. Amir didn't notice that Master Belduke was dead. On the other hand, I ran straight away to call the Knights of the Inquisition, and so you suspect that I knew beforehand that Master was dead. That's what you're thinking. Your face is like an open book. But isn't that what actually happened? No, I knew something was wrong because Master had very fine manners and would never sleep in his chair. When I saw him like that, I was struck with a very bad realization. I felt certain that something terrible had happened. I've heard about you. The word is that you're very collected and perceptive. It would seem to be the case. It would be more appropriate to call her calculating. Somehow, I feel like you're not paying me enough attention here. It matters not, witness. Let us proceed with the cross-examination. Matters not. No need to be so rude about it. Bucko. Butler hurried and called the Knights of the Inquisition. He never entered the study.
Hold it!
Are you sure the butler didn't enter the crime scene? Yeah, like I said, he didn't set foot in that room. I went in and sorta didn't know what to do, but the butler sussed out the situation in the blink of an eye. He told me to stand guard, and then he ran out. She went to call the Knights of the Inquisition, is that correct? That's correct. I went to a nearby garrison. We have the records of when the crime was reported. They match the witness's testimony. I returned to Master Belduke's house with two knights. They began an investigation immediately, taking away Master's research materials and concoctions. In the end, I wasn't able to enter that room that day. There could be no doubt about it. She is the alchemist's apprentice, she was under close observation following the incident. I wasn't aware of that. So in the end, she didn't have access to the crime scene at all on that day, huh? Somebody's calling me. By the way, what were you doing at that time? Huh? What? Me? What I do then? Yeah, I asked to keep an eye on things, so I went to have a bit of look at everything.
Hold it!
What were you having a look at? Well, I was asked to take care of the crime scene, wasn't I? So I had to, like, make sure everything was in order. I mean, you know, not like I went wild with excitement after being left with the alchemist's room full of mysterious stuff. Sure you didn't, Mr. Sticky Fingers. And besides, she asked me to look for something, so I was doing that too. Let's stick with him first. Can't refuse a request from a lady, am I right? Amir's lesser-known gentlemanly side had me surprised, if I may confide. Wait, but you didn't know it was a lady? Back then, what are you talking about? Rayo asked him to look for something. What's that? This is news to me. What were you asked to look for? Enlighten us, witness. What was it now? No, I can't remember. Well, maybe if you didn't drink so much. Doesn't matter. In the end, whatever it was, I never found it. I remember that. Alright, that's gone. Let's go ahead and go back to this.
Hold it!
Oh.
Hang on!
Squirrel, you look lost in thought. Oh, were you talking to me? Even she can be caught off guard. If I choose the right moment. You have been listening to Mr. Amir's testimony, haven't you? Yes, I have. He was asked to look for something. It was you who asked him, I presume. What did you tell him to look for? I think you're mistaken. I don't remember making any request of that sort. Huh? Oi, Bluey. Were you even listening to what I said? It was a lady that asked me. Butler is a guy, you numbskull. Interesting. Hey, what's up? Why is everyone looking at me like that? A while ago, we learned that the butler, Jean Greyer, was actually female. What? That's why when you said a lady asked you to search for something, we assumed it was Miss Greyer. What? Daydreaming, listening, but not hearing. That look of shock is almost endearing. What the? You mean to tell me? Do you require a personal notification? You should have been listening to the trial. Knights of the court, squabbling with a witness is most unseemly. What I would like to know now is this. Who was the lady that made the request of Amir? Yeah, that was actually Miss...
He's absolutely certainly talking about me.
Oh, and you are?
Oh, I'm Letty. Hang on a minute. I'll get down there post haste.
But, Miss Letty, who are you precisely?
Me? Who am I? I'm Letty Mailer. I'm the courier.
A courier? Courier is a person who collects and delivers letters or packages. I know. Thanks anyway, Isabella. I wish you'd stop misreading my mind. Hold on, Miss Mailer. You mean it was you who irresponsibly made such a request to that troublemaker? Me? Maybe, yes, I guess so. I asked him to help me find something. Outrageous. Why was I not informed of this? Guess no one told you. Maybe because you didn't ask? Gosh. It seems we will need to ask you to testify, Miss Mailer. Explain to us how you were involved in this case. Frankly, I wouldn't say I was involved in anything. Now I'm in a tight spot. I bet it's because that guy said something weird about me. He's up on me, lady. Like the saying goes, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. Beats being in a pickle all on your own, eh? Now then, Miss Letty Mailer, testify about that day. That voice could make windows shatter. Oh, man. Yeah, you meant to say this before, but you started Wario Land 4 last night. Very bizarre but cool game. It was picked by the community for you. I've never played Wario Land. As a matter of fact, I looked at that Pizza Tower game that you recommended yesterday, and let's just say that I have some concerns. A lot of concerns. Sir Belduke said he'd have a letter to send, so I came by to pick it up.
Hold it!
You mean you came to pick up a letter from Sir Belduke? Yes, I was told by Sir Belduke that it'd be ready in the morning. What's more, he said it was extremely important. I felt a sense of duty surging within me. I don't like... I'm gonna come back to you. And so you visited Sir Belduke's dwelling the morning after he was murdered. I got a start when I arrived. The door was smashed in, and that man was walking around with an axe, rummaging about. As for Sir Belduke, he was slumped in his chair, and the butler was nowhere to be found. That brute's gone too far, I thought to myself. Now you can see why, right? Of course. Naturally. Your place, I would have thought so myself. That's mean. Anyway, I spoke with him, and he told me what happened. So that's when I asked him to help me. You asked him to look for something. Yes, the letter. I asked him to search for the letter. But in the end, the guy passed out on the couch. I found the letter myself, then I delivered it. You actually delivered the letter. That's commitment, all right. About that letter, who, in the name of the noble author, was it addressed to? I can't tell you that. Sorry, couriers can't disclose that sort of info. Couriers have a oh boy, here we go. Confidentiality obligation. No one wants to have the addresses or the addressees of their letters made public after all. I have personally never sent a letter that I would need to keep secret from the public. Don't look at me like that. I was talking about public opinion on the matter, not my own. Belduke was about to send an important letter when he was killed. That letter kind of rings a bell. I didn't want to go down this path yet, but I guess I'm going to go down this path. You know what? Marking. Oh, I already marked. It's just a hunch, and it might not have anything to do with this case, but I need to make sure. I need to know more about Belduke's letter. Witness. Huh? Me? What's up? The letter Sir Belduke asked you to deliver on that day. Was it?
Take that!
Seeing Axel's dismayed reactions to so much of this trial is hilarious. So many shenanigans are just happening, and it's incredibly silly. Wario Land is fantastic. I've never played it myself. What could be concerning about a game inspired by Wario Land and 90s 90s Nicktoons? It's a platformer. That's what's concerning about it. I have not played very many platformers on stream, and there's a good reason for that. The letter you found that morning, was it by any chance this one here? Huh. Yes, that's the one. But wait, how did you get it? You're a piece of work, all right.
Objection!
Hold it, Sir Blue Knight. How did you come by that letter? It just sort of fell into my lap, so to speak. It was the professor who found it, but he doesn't need to know that. Defender, just what in the world are the contents of that letter? Well, the letter is blank. What? All this fuss over a blank letter. As you can see, there are some sheets of parchment inside the envelope. Indeed, and there's not a trace of ink on them. What is the meaning of this? Don't forget that Sir Belduke was an alchemist. He may have used some kind of invisible ink to write that letter. Oh, indeed, something. About that, it doesn't make sense to me. What? Miss Mailer? Thing is, when I saw that letter, all the pages were full of writing, so, you know.
Objection!
Hold it, witness. You saw the contents of Sir Belduke's letter. I didn't read it, it's just that, you see... Witness, this is an important matter. You will need to testify about it. Tell us what you know about this letter. I am really shocked that what's occurring right now is Sir Blue Knight. Why are we talking about a letter? This has nothing to do with the murder. Can you prove that this letter has something to do with the murder? Oh, you can't? There's nothing written on it? Sorry. Drop the cage. At night, probably about 1 a.m., I made a delivery to Sir Belduke. He was writing a letter at the same time. It'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. That's what he said. I left his study and wished the butler a good night, then I went home. I went there again the next morning, as promised. Sir Belduke was, well, anyway, I looked for the letter. Then that guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter. I see. So you witnessed the victim write the letter. I wouldn't say witnessed. That sounds so legal. The sheets of parchment were on his desk, though. I saw that. And they were covered in writing, margin to margin. But you don't know what the letter was about. Telling you would be a breach of our privacy policy. I can't reveal its contents, or who it was addressed to. Oh, of course, I understand. Frankly, I didn't get close enough. To Sir Belduke's desk, I mean, so I couldn't make out what he was writing. Also, it happened 3 months ago. I can't remember what I wrote down 3 months ago, let alone what someone else wrote down 3 months ago, unless you owe me money. I remember that. In any case, where did you find the letter the morning after the victim was found dead? On a shelf next to his desk, in a small letterbox. Ah, yes, right there next to his head. I was a teeny little bit scared, though, coming so close to a dead man. That's where she took the letter from. It was right next to the corpse, huh? Now that the circumstances are clear, we shall proceed to the cross-examination. Also, regarding the conversation we had about Rocco yesterday, the restaurant they go to is literally called the Choky Chicken. I don't if choky chicken is like a euphemism or like an illicit reference or something like that, I don't get it. Your tastes always spot on. Opinions are factually correct. I don't know if I can disagree with that, Dante. And that concerns me. That night, probably about 1 a.m., I made a delivery to Sir Belduke.
Hold it!
That's pretty late to be making a delivery. Look, he's an alchemist. He gets loads of strange packages, that's why. He'd often order various implements from the glass craftsman, or have someone gather wild herbs for him. He usually carried out his experiments at night, so yeah, he often needed items delivered in the middle of the night. Did Sir Belduke seem at all different than normal when you saw him that night? Different? Let me think. Actually, yes. I think it was about 3 days before Sir Belduke's death. I mean, that lightning strike. I still don't trust her, and I don't think I'm going to. We can come back to you. We can come back to you. Lightning strike? Yes. The sky was clear, and then there was a sudden flash of lightning. Out of nowhere, an old bell tower appeared in flames. Yes, that certainly was an unusual event. It all seemed so calm about it. A tower suddenly materializing in the town is more than just an unusual event, right? I had a delivery for Sir Belduke that evening, too. He looked terrified that night, as if he was scared of something. What could he have been afraid of? But because of the lightning strike. I was wondering about it too, but well, when that incident happened, or then that incident happened, I guess he died before she could find out anymore. I suggest we get back to discussing the night of the crime. Witness, you arrived at Sir Belduke's residence. What happened then? I was writing a letter at the time. It'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. That's what he said.
Hold it!
You saw the letter he was writing. I told you before, there were sheets of parchment with writing on them on his desk. I had a very quick look. There were so many sheets, the letter must have been very long. Then how can you explain the letter being blank now? That's just it. That's what I'd like to know as well. Is that... Am I... Like, is there like a beep noise there? Does anyone else hear that beep noise? Or is that some other noise? Wish I had some earplugs. Sir Belduke. He was holding a pen when I arrived with the delivery, so he was in the middle of writing. And also, he told me to pick up the letter the next morning. And then he left his study. You hear it too? Okay, cool. It's like if somebody were bleeping out like a curse word or something like that. It's that sound when like a channel. I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody, but where like it has all those colors on the screen and it plays like a beeping noise that just doesn't go away to like let you know that something went wrong. That's the noise that I hear there. I left his study and wished the butler a good night. Then I went home.
Hold it!
Wait a minute. When you say the butler, you mean Mr. or Miss Grayer, of course. She was in the corridor carrying a tray. You know, actually, I quite like the butler. Is it really true she's a girl? It's a bit disappointing, to me at least. Oh, I'm sorry I was unable to meet your expectations. I'm not sure I want to know about her expectations. In any case, Miss Mailer did visit us that night. She came to deliver a package to Master Belduke. He delivered it to the Master personally. There were always many things to which I was not privy. Right, and I saw you that night when I was leaving. I almost walked into you. Butler didn't mention that. Yes, it's as you say. I was about to wish Master Belduke a good night. Rero looks a lot more confident now. But she seemed so shaken for a moment earlier. I wonder what that was about. Maybe I missed the right moment. Witnesses, continue your testimonies. I went there again, and the next morning was promised Sir Belduke was, well, that was the letter.
Hold it!
You took the letter from the crime scene. That's right, I took it from the crime scene.
Objection!
Do you not realize that pinching evidence from a crime scene is itself a crime worthy of severe punishment? Well, it might be a crime, sure, but just look at the witch's defender. He's got to defend a witch, using any dirty tricks at his disposal. Dirty tricks? What dirty tricks? The same for me, you know? I'm a courier. So come rain or shine, I've got to deliver. Where there's mail, there's mailer. I was so inspired by the young lady's spirit that I kinda just had to help. Although inspired by her dedication, he betrayed a lack of concentration. It is entirely my fault that it came to that. Had I been at the residence then, Rero was out notifying the knights at the time. Then that guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter.
Hold it!
He went out like a light. He was helping me look for the letter, and then it happened. Out of the blue, he just passed out. The rascal. He collapsed, and his eyes rolled back. He wouldn't move. It almost sounds like he died. No such luck, unfortunately. That horrible sound, he was grating his teeth, and I thought my ears would explode. Yep, not sure what came over me. Never happened to me before, sleeping like that. You know, I didn't just fall asleep, more like I sort of blacked out, I guess. No idea why. Boy, you guys, what do you think? Any ideas? I think it bears no relevance, and there you have my honest answer. I think it's good that I wasn't there. Question is, why did he black out like that? I don't know. I can't hint coin this. I've got no idea. Really odd even for that guy to just suddenly fall unconscious, but I don't think I have any evidence to show what might have caused it. It's alright, maybe we can use some more information. I think Luke may be right. I think that's what the professor is trying to tell us too. I mean, it looks like he's demanding I find the answer right this second. For now, it's probably best to gather some more info like Luke said. Courier is committed to her work, or maybe just plain crazy. Mr. Wright, this testimony raises more questions than it answers, doesn't it? Sir Belduke wrote that letter the night before his death, and yet, now it's blank. That's a mystery, all right. But there's something else unusual in what she said. There is? The part about the guy going out like a light seems strange to me as well. That witness said he felt a surge of drowsiness at the time, but still. Something about that seems kind of odd, even for a guy like him. I have a feeling there's much more to Miss Mailer's testimony than meets the eye. I'll get to the bottom of this, don't worry. Good luck. Alright.
Hold it!
Excuse me, Miss Grey Earl. Oh, what is it? Did anything in Miss Mailer's statement catch your attention? Well, just the lightning strike. Master Belduke did certainly change following that event. I wonder why it affected him so much. An alchemist and the sudden appearance of an old bell tower. Could there be some sort of connection between them? Anyway, it looks like Grey Earl is as much in the dark about this as I am. By the way, that strange lightning strike was not the result of witchcraft. I see. Well then, let us carry on. What? What? I don't think it was that one. I think it was this one.
Hold it! Hang on!
It's 100% innuendo. Oh man, Axelrod live stream from Vegas. Talking about Las Vegas or a different Vegas? Oh, did you see that TwitchCon is likely going to be in Vegas this year? Oh, great. A bunch of people who are probably not over the age of 18, or 21 for that matter, are going to go to Las Vegas. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Miss Grey Earl, I'd like to ask you something. Oh, certainly. What is it? You stated previously that you excused yourself and left Sir Belduke's study shortly after 1 a.m. Yes, that is correct. However, according to Miss Mailer's testimony, the two of you came across each other while you were waiting outside that room. Why didn't you mention that until now? That's because... I apologize, I'm afraid I completely forgot to mention it. You forgot? Miss Mailer very often comes with deliveries during the night. I did see her that night as well, but I didn't think much of it, as it's nothing unusual. I had no reason to hide that from you. Please forgive me for the confusion. Well, that kind of thing can happen. Human memory is in no way perfect. Don't imagine there's a problem here, is there? On the contrary, Your Honor. There's one more thing Miss Grey Earl forgot to mention. What is it? I'd like you to recall what Miss Mailer said about having met Miss Grey Earl that night. Of course, she was in the corridor carrying a tray. Oh, Miss Grey Earl. Apparently you were carrying a tray at that time. What do you have to say about that? Jean Grey Earl, I believe you should add that to your testimony. As you wish, my lord. Unlikely she really forgot about it. The fact she tried to hide it must mean something. Mailer left, just as I was bringing Master's usual drink.
Hold it!
What do you mean by usual drink? When Master's experiments continued into late hours, he would always have some juice to ward off sleepiness. What kind of juice? Tomato juice. Alright.
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister. Mister. I know nothing about it. Nothing at all. Witness, what have you done this time? Don't give me that scary look, Inquisitor Barnham. It was only just a little bit. Seriously, hardly anything at all. What are you talking about? What do you think I'm talking about? The juice, the tomato juice, of course. A tomato juice? Oh, you didn't. Surely even you wouldn't. Well, like I told you before, I think I sort of overdid it the previous night. When I woke up, my head was pounding. That's why I went to see the alchemist. But you know what happened, and then I was left alone in the alchemist's study. It kind of caught me eye, the bottle, I mean. Tomato juice. I thought it might make the headache go away, you know? So you drank it, the juice found in the crime scene. Well, why shouldn't I? It's a drink, ain't it? What else do you think you do with a drink? You drink it, right? And can you tell us where that bottle is now? Come to think of it, I don't remember seeing it at the crime scene. It has been confiscated. Confiscated. As I mentioned previously, the occult crime analysts confiscated all the master's personal belongings from the crime scene. That's so. Well, I believe we should take a note of that bottle and add it to the court record. Nice. I got my evidence. Yeah, so there I was, having a bit of juice when that girl came around. To tell you the truth, don't quite remember what happened after that. That's when he passed out, huh? Alright, so sleeping potion. Got it. Was it this one? Or was it this one? It was this one.
Hold it!
Maybe it was the previous one. Thought there was another thing that I could press home chick slice about. Your Honor, I might have a clue as to why this witness suddenly lost consciousness. You do? Really? Did you work it out, Bluey? If that's the case. May the defense present some evidence.
Take that!
Take that! That does it sound like something loud and you got in your ears? Yes, yes, yes. Does it sound like the hospital, like flat? Yes, that's the sound. That is the sound. Never really had Las Vegas on your list of cities you wanted to visit, like at all, but if TwitchCon is there, then you will be there. Gonna meet up with Bricks O'Brien and Tragic on Twitch. I've been to Las Vegas a lot of times, granted, not as an adult, as a child. And Las Vegas was one of the most boring places I've ever been to. Probably because I was a child. But I hated going there. Like, with a burning passion. My parents would get to do all kinds of fun things, and I just couldn't do anything. I think I sat in a hotel room all the time. I think I went to Circus once, and it was like we walked inside, and there was like a ride or something right there, or some sort of mechanical monstrosity, and then we walked out. I wasn't a fan of Las Vegas. Haven't been there since, though. You know, since my younger years. Mister, I believe the reason you might have lost consciousness at the crime scene is tied to a certain piece of evidence. But wasn't it just because, I had a bit too much fun the night before? No, it was because of this. The tomato juice. You passed out right after drinking this juice. Therefore, it's not unreasonable to assume that there is a direct connection between the two. Tomato juice does not make people fall unconscious, Sir Blue Knight. Exactly. That's why something must have been added to the contents of that bottle. Something like a soporific. Soporific. You mean sleep medicine? And if soporific was mixed in with the tomato juice, that means Sir Belduke would have been unconscious at the time he was assailed. Oh! This sketch, have another look. The red liquid trickling down from the victim's mouth is proof that Sir Belduke must have drank the tomato juice. I had failed to consider this. Inquisitor Barnham, I bet you remember saying this to the court. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly, there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. However, if the victim was unconscious when his assailant was strangling him, then the killer could have committed the crime through the small portal big enough to put their arms through after all. Also, who in the heck is writing down what everybody is saying so that you could recite it word for word back to them to smack it in their faces with?
Objection!
That may be so, but tell me this. How would the culprit have managed to obtain such a strong soporific? It's very simple, and I think you realized why. From the alchemist. That's right, an alchemist would no doubt have a wide array of various medicaments in their possession, and an apprentice would have little trouble stealing some of them from their study. Isn't that right, Miss Grey Earl? How should I respond to that? I'm sorry to disappoint you, may perhaps be the best way to put it. What do you mean? Even though that juice bottle has been safely stored for the past 3 months, I'm positive it would be impossible to find any traces of that soporific now. You wicked. It's unbelievable. But really the butler who did it. But everything she says holds true. She was pretending to be a boy. That's mighty suspicious to start with. Is she a witch? Okay, it is definitely the game. It must be like one of those scenarios where it's like she's screaming so loud that it's making your ears ring or something like that, you know? I think it's that. Mana da mama again. You hate being on mobile? I hate it too. My previous phone, anytime I typed in with, W-I-T-H, it would change it to the 24th. 24th was infuriating. My current phone, which is not very new, but it is a little bit better with the autocorrect, but it could still be improved. I like my punctuation and my capitalization, and I like the apostrophes in the words that need apostrophes in them, and my phone does not cooperate all the time. Hold on, everyone. The butler couldn't have done that to Sir Belduke. She would never ever do it. Please, let us testify just one more time. Miss Grey Earl, let's tell them. Let's prove they're wrong. They have no idea how much you've done for Sir Belduke. Miss Mailer. Very well, I shall grant your request. Testify about the relationship between Miss Grey Earl and Sir Belduke. Probably one of the strangest things about picking Vegas is that gambling is quite literally outlawed on Twitch. That's an interesting thing. It's not outlawed. It's only certain aspects of it are prevented on Twitch. But you could still do other aspects of gambling that are not related to like loot boxes or whatever other things you might want to associate with it. But yeah, the whole Twitch, being a Twitch streamer and probably not having the capacity to engage in a lot of things that Vegas has to offer, probably a recipe for disaster. And I'm sure somebody's going to blame Twitch for it. It's like, oh, that 17-year-old decided that they were going to go into a casino and cause a ruckus and drink, and then they died. Twitch should have been, less heartless about this. They should have been monitoring everybody. Craziness. Master took me in, a complete stranger. I will forever be indebted to him. That's why I could never make an attempt on his life, through magic or otherwise. Sir Belduke was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work to me. And he's the one who told me about it. The confidentiality obligation, I mean. I never once broken it. Has nothing to do with anything. True that Sir Belduke invoked fear due to his being an alchemist. However, he was also a man of admirable character, or admirable character, who supported the townsfolk through his research. Why would anyone want to kill such a man? This question keeps haunting me, however much I think about it. Witches need no reason behind their evil. That is what makes them witches. Now the defense may begin its interrogation. You see people gamble their channel points and gamble in games. Well, the thing about gambling with channel points and games and things like that is, it's slightly different because you're not using your own money. A lot of people think that gambling is wrong for many reasons, which applies to like games and channel points for sure. But because they're putting themselves in situations where they cannot get out from under them, and so they just kind of sit there. They gamble away their life savings and they sell their house, and now they have nothing. Which for a me type of person, I would say, well, that person has a problem with gambling and it's their fault. Whereas other people would probably say, the enabling of gambling is the problem. And some people might point blame to both of those reasoning. And so, I guess it's just who you talk to. Master took me in, a complete stranger. I'll forever be indebted to him.
Hold it!
How long has it been since you began serving Sir Belduke? I suppose it would be 5 years now. Before that, I'd lost everything. I had nothing and nobody left in this world. Lost everything. That's when Master Belduke helped me. He kindly took me in and gave me work. What did she go through before she started working for Belduke? Later, when I was helping Master with his research, he even taught me how to read and write. I was able to live comfortably for so long, all because of Master. I don't know much about Grey Earl, but she doesn't seem the type to kill someone she owes so much to. Everyone in this town knows how you served Sir Belduke. Now you may continue your testimony. Bet Axelrod totally solves the next puzzle? I will totally solve the next puzzle. Come on. Come on. Come on. Who do you think you're talking to? That's why I could never make an attempt on his life, through magic or otherwise.
Hold it!
You're claiming you had no reason to kill Sir Belduke. Yes, you can ask whomever you wish, and I'm sure they will say the same. That is so. It is widely known that Jean Grey Earl was devoted to serving Sir Belduke. It's difficult to imagine that she could brutally murder her respected master. Indeed, I'm of the same opinion. I have visited Sir Belduke on several occasions to inquire about this piece of evidence or that. And I must say, I felt there was a strong bond of trust between him and Miss Grey Earl. Do you still think you can come up with a motive? A motive? Jean Grey Earl's motive for murder. Grey Earl asked a lot to conjure up a small portal, or risked a lot to conjure up a small portal on the wall. Then she killed Sir Belduke, but what motive did she have? I don't have, well, I actually do. The motive is clearly the letter. But like, how do I go from there? We use real money on gotcha systems? Well, that goes back to the thing that I mentioned of, you know, people will blame the gotcha system or people will approach forms of gambling in various ways. I will say that person has a problem and should probably stop spending money on gotcha systems. Someone else will say gotcha systems shouldn't be so exploitive to lure people into their systems to, you know, basically bait them into spending money on them. And other people will say a combination of the two, or, you know, maybe some other thing that I'm not mentioning right now. You know, it just depends on who you talk to. You think informed, consenting adults can make bad decisions, and that's their problem. But you also think predatory business practices don't prey on informed adults. They prey on misleading, deceiving people and kids. That is also true. This also goes into a slight tangent, but slightly related. I personally think that, and I'm not saying that like laws should be changed or anything like that, you know, disclaimer. But I personally think kids are way more intelligent than people seem to give them credit for. I think a lot of people say things like, the poor child was manipulated and stuff like that. But, when I was growing up, I knew what was going on. If there was a fight in the next door neighbors and my mom was like, oh, they're just arguing about where to put the pot and pans or whatever. I'm like, sucker, no, they're having a fight. There's probably domestic violence going over there or something like that. I knew what was going down. I think kids are way more intelligent than people give them credit for. And I think they are capable of making informed decisions like informed consenting adults. That said, it is much easier to manipulate a kid or a child than it is an adult. Probably because a child more than likely doesn't have all the concepts of what they are risking, I suppose. If a child is given an allowance, losing that allowance is much less of a disaster than you losing your paycheck, for example, because you have to pay rent and bills and all this other stuff, whereas a child is living rent-free and they get all their meals paid for and yada yada, this and that. Nah, kids are just impulsive. They're capable. There's plenty of business strategy specifically targeted at kids because the difference of priorities versus a kid versus adult. Right. And that's basically where I was going with that second part. We can leave it at that. Regardless, Just to circle back, I think the Las Vegas, there's no reason to have a TwitchCon in Las Vegas unless you're going to have it in a very nice spot, somewhere somewhat close to the strip, perhaps. And I can just see the controversies already if they go through with that. Anyways, I continue talking about this because I am going to mark here. Sorry, YouTube folks.